We'll start with the play-in round, biggest game tonight. We've got a 16 versus 16. We're not going to talk about Southeast Missouri State, Texas A&M, Corpus Christi, but we will talk about the later game at 9 o'clock Eastern. Number 11 Pittsburgh, number 11 Mississippi State. It's that time of the year where sports bettors try to figure out what channel True TV is on their cable box. And Marco, I'll start with you. These 11 seeds, one thing that has been consistent almost every year since they started this play-in round is that either tonight or tomorrow in the Arizona State-Nevada game, one of these winners, tonight or tomorrow, will probably make a run to the Sweet 16. We see it year in and year out. Marco, who do you think is going to get by in this game?
Okay, well, I'm going to address that, one of the teams making a run, because I'm going to save my actual play on this one till the end because it's my best bet. But the reason that is these teams that play this 11 seed play-in game, they're good teams, okay? They probably shouldn't be in a play-in game to start with, and they get a game under their belt. That's a huge advantage because, let's face it, for a lot of these kids, the big dance is a big deal. And there are butterflies. So you come out, you get a game under your belt, you win that game, and then you advance to the number 11 seed like you should have been anyways. That's a big leg up. And that's why I think these teams have done so well with that game under their belt. So I do have a best bet on this one with Mississippi State and Pitt. I'll save it for the end.
Love it. Looking forward to it. And, Tony, one thing I mentioned earlier on Wager Talk today about the seeding, Teddy Covers said, I don't look at the seeds. And, I don't really either. By the way, we're posting my bracket right now on WagerTalk.com. I've got a lot of people asking me on Twitter the last day or so. Yes, my complete NCAA tournament bracket by the end of this show will probably be loading. It's loading right now as we speak for all clients. So I do look at the seedings, Tony, when I do the bracket for that reason. But it is remarkable to me that these teams that, a lot of people don't think deserve to be there make runs. I do think the committee gets it right in that regard. And these are two dangerous teams, in my opinion. Which one do you think gets by tonight, Pitt, Mississippi State?
Seedings, I agree with both of you. I agree. I don't pay much attention to seedings unless I am, sitting down and with friends and having a fun time doing a bracket. And even then, home teams. Listen, there's some paths. I'm one of those that believes a path is important when you're picking a champion, for instance. And there are some teams that you just mentioned that I thought maybe got what they didn't deserve during this tournament. That's another story. Mississippi State Bulldogs. This is a team I like. In this situation, let's go with conference strengths, too. I'm a fan of the SEC, Big 12. I think they're more battle-tested. And in this situation, you got a clash of styles, guys. You got a big clash of styles. Mississippi State has a stronger resume. In part, they played in a physical conference that plays tenacious defense. And unlike Alabama, unlike some of the other teams, they don't get a lot of in the SEC. They don't get a lot of a lot of face time. And Pitt surprised some people this year. I thought they played well in this situation where they're playing. I'm going to go with physicality over finesse, especially early in a tournament. I just know the way I go later in a tournament, but this is a pick and a coin toss. I'm not deep into this game or personally vested, but I would probably be on the visitor in this situation, Mississippi State minus the number over the Pitt Panthers.
Visitor at Dayton. Pittsburgh is closer to Dayton.
Pseudo visitor, right?
Pittsburgh is a lot closer, actually, though. You probably will be a little bit of travel from the Pitt guys, Rob, I would think, right across the state border there. By the way, we have seen money come in on Mississippi State. They opened 1. It's now up to 2.5 across the board. And, Rob, we've also seen money on the over. Opened 131 up to 133. So Mississippi State and over money, Rob. Do you agree or disagree with either of those?
Well, I'd say I agree, Steve, but I'd also say that in these games where the difference could be a basket, and we see it in these 65 through 68 team games each year, they come down to the wire. In a lot of instances, 2.5 with a defensive-minded team, you were probably way better off when you got the 1. But that doesn't mean that 2.5 should be shunned. I'm going to expand a little bit on what Tony said because I'm generally not one that likes all the talk when they start posting conference records during the tournament. Oh, this conference is this and this and that. Makes no difference. Not to me, at least. These matchups are all situational. They're all individual. But I'm going to cite class difference here with these two. I kind of think, guys, that the offensive numbers overall this season posted by each one of these teams are a bit phony. And I'll say that because Pittsburgh hasn't played a lot of good defense this year. I mean, they just start combing through their games and see what the ACC had to offer for defensive-minded squads, and you don't find it. They played UVA, Duke, and North Carolina. Those three teams sit inside the top 50 adjusted defensive efficiency, according to Ken Palm. The other side, Mississippi State, faced 6-5 in the top 30. Alabama, Tennessee, 2-3. Arkansas, 16. Auburn, 29. Florida, 30. A&M, 37. They faced a lot of quality defenses. So, yeah, their offensive numbers could be down. Their offensive numbers also would be down because of their head coach. Remember Chris Jans from New Mexico State. I mean, he's a defensive-minded guy. He wants to play like paint is drying and play defense on the other end and win these games 67-62, whatever. So for Pittsburgh, I'm going to say you read a lot of things leading into this, trying to prep for this. And one of the things I see a lot of is, Pittsburgh's offense and Mississippi State's defense is comparable to Virginia's because they're 6-7 in adjusted efficiency, but they're totally different defenses. I will say this. Pittsburgh's a perimeter team. Tony mentioned finesse. They're basically guard oriented. They want to shoot the basketball. Virginia plays that infamous pack line defense, right? They don't let anybody get to the rim, but man, they'll let you shoot 3-pointers. The Virginia Cavaliers this year, 3-point defense ranks number 178 in the nation. They don't care if you shoot outside. That's the whole philosophy behind the way they play. But Mississippi State's going to contest on the perimeter. And then if you get in the lane, they've got bigs in the lane to meet you there too. So I think this is a totally different animal. Again, Tony said physicality. I would agree with that. I think team speed here is going to be a little bit different. If you just use Duke as an example, because Duke was the far better 3-point defense than Virginia this year, Pittsburgh shot below 30% against Duke twice. They didn't make it from the arc over 30%. So I think Mississippi State probably scores a little more because they're going to, we talk often about how these teams like to break out of conference and go play these non-conference teams. Mississippi State's going to probably enjoy this defense a little bit more than what they've been seeing across the SEC this year. I'd probably lean that way. And I would definitely say that the guys who got in on over 131, because I expect Mississippi State maybe to get to 70 in this game. So maybe over was the right move early too.
Rob Veno, WagerTalk.com, and that's the big play-in game tonight once again for the NCAA Tournament, whatever they call it, first four in. I call it a play-in game, but once again, that's the big game tonight at 9 Eastern on True TV.